Hello, my name is Pearl.
Hi, I'm Derek, and we'd like to welcome you to this film on nonverbal classroom management.
We work together as a team, and we're also mother and son.
The topics we are specialized in are classroom management, learning to learn coaching, and brain-friendly learning techniques.
We've written several books on these topics, and we give seminars throughout Austria as well as around the world. And we have discovered that wherever we go, teachers everywhere are facing the same challenges in their classrooms.
We would like to briefly introduce ourselves.
I was a teacher for 11 years at a commercial academy for 14 to 19-year-olds, as well as at a Viennese middle school. In 1984, I founded a language school and have worked for many years as a trainer for in-service teacher training. And you?
I'm a teacher, coach, and communication trainer, and have also conducted a great number of courses for in-service teacher training. Actually, I went to acting school, and I've been able to integrate a lot of what I learned there into our trainings and my classroom experience.
Our topic today is anchoring. Anchors are signals, symbols, and rituals which can replace many of the words and sentences we use on a daily basis in classroom management.
For example, be quiet, or listen closely.
I would like to introduce you now to our little dog, Anchor. Anchor, our little dog Anchor, a very famous dog.
You know, he used to belong to Ivan Petrovich Pavlov. Pavlov gave us his dog, and he also gave us his bell.
Every time that Pavlov rang the bell, Anchor thought he was getting something to eat and started to drool. That is a so-called conditioning, or as we call it here, an anchor.
An anchor is a stimulus that always calls forth the same reaction. So when Pavlov rang the bell, Anchor thought that he was going to get something to eat.
That was the stimulus, yeah? And he drooled.
And that was the reaction.
Anchor went with me to school every day. When the students were too loud in the classroom, he hid in the crook of my arm. The pupils asked me then, "Why is the dog hiding, Mrs. Nitsche?" I answered, "Because he likes it when it's quiet." They immediately quietened down, and Anchor peeked out from the crook of my arm. Soon it was enough when Anchor simply appeared. When they saw him, they got quiet.
And there are anchors everywhere in everyday life.
Yes, there are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory anchors. And there are also location anchors.
Let me give you an example. One of our colleagues teaches art. She told us that her students are well behaved, but nevertheless, in every lesson she needs to say once or occasionally twice, "And now let's clean up." That would be okay, she said. But I teach 6 periods a day. That means I have to say, "And now let's clean up" 6 to 12 times a day. And I'm at school 5 days a week. And there are about 40 weeks in a school year. That means I have to say, "And now let's clean up" 1,200 to 2,400 times a year.
She replaced these words with a music anchor. the song Waterloo. She told her students, whenever you hear this song, you will know that it is time to clean up. She said it the first time and the second time. But as of the third time, she forced herself not to say it again. We teachers have the tendency to talk too much. And if I'm still saying it the 100th time around, why did I even bother to establish an anchor?
The anchor worked like a charm for 6 months, but suddenly it didn't work anymore. She thought about it and then remembered that she had been sick and missed school for a week. Another teacher substituted for her and played that music in a different situation. The students even said, "But that's the wrong music." But it was too late. The anchor had been broken.
Yes, if you want an anchor to work well, you have to use it systematically. And when an anchor is used systematically, it automatically changes the student's inner state. So in this case, a painting inner state changes to a cleaning up inner state, without the teacher needing to say a single word.
We'll show you a few examples on that. If I want my students to form a circle with their chairs, I simply and silently hang up this chart on the board. Rather than saying, "Please be quiet" over and over again, I hold up this picture.
If suddenly it gets loud and the students are restless, then I count 1, 2, 3, freeze. Or I can say, instead of saying line up in twos,
I just hold up 2 fingers. On my very first day in the classroom, I was amazed at how disrespectful the students were when interacting with each other. The next day, I took a bed sheet and fabric paint to school. I asked the students to paint a poster and to write on it 100% respect. I wanted to teach the students what respect really is. We are always saying things like treat each other with respect and all that, but often our students don't know what respect means because their families speak like that at home as well. So we made a deal with each other. Each time something disrespectful was said, I rang a bell on my desk, and that was the signal for everyone, including myself, to stand up, point at the poster, and everybody had to say 100% respect. And if a student said something disrespectful about him or herself, like "I'm so stupid" or something similar, also, same story, bell, stand up, 100% respect. That's really important because we need to learn to respect each other. It was amazing how fast the situation improved.
the last type of anchor we want to show you is a location anchor. One day, when I was teaching in the middle school, I was standing in front of the class and talking about an unbelievably interesting topic such as irregular verbs. While speaking, I was holding a roll of tape in my hands. Suddenly, I tore off a piece of tape. And without saying a word about it, I stuck the piece of tape on the floor. I continued talking about irregular verbs, and then I ripped off another piece of tape and made an X on the floor. The students were so curious, and they asked me, "Mrs. Nitsche, why did you make an X on the floor?" I explained to them that every time I step on this X, but really every time, then you will know that I am going to say something very, very important. That was the hit of the century. I only needed to come close to the X, and they all nudged each other saying, "Oh, she's going over there." And if I said something important and stood someplace else in the room, they would say, "Mrs. Nitsche, you know that when you say something important, you have to stand on the X."
Anchors. That's a big and important topic. There are loads of anchors in the classroom, and they can also be found in management, for teaching material, and in our everyday lives. And with that, we hope that you're using a lot of anchors, and we say goodbye.